welcome back. We are Courtney,
I'm Kenneth.
and this is the From Launch to Legacy podcast, where we talk about how to start and run a small business. So far, we've talked about things like your business back end, structure types, how to legally start your business. But this is our first episode on the good stuff. So today we are going to talk about your first clients. And I know that that is super scary for some of you guys and super exciting at the same time.
Yep. So we're looking forward to this episode and hope you guys are too.
All right. Before we get started, I want to remind you guys that every episode has something that goes along with it on our website. So it has a checklist or a guide, some more in-depth notes, and you guys can print those off at www.havinsconsulting.com. Okay, before we start getting into the details of how to do this, I think it's very important that you're clear on your ideal customer. That way, when you're talking to people, you kind of know who you're wanting to find, right?
Yep. And you'll hear a lot about that, about finding your niche and whatnot. And there's definitely some truth to that. If you don't have any idea, it's going to be kind of crazy trying to cast that net.
So we talked about that a little bit in, I think, episode 1 or 2, and I'm sure we'll have an episode more in depth. But your ideal client, ours in the beginning was just a small business owner. Anyone that was about to start or has just started a small business. So it doesn't have to be super narrowed down like some other websites or whatever we'll talk to you about, but you do kind of want an idea.
Yeah. And we have kind of honed in a more targeted and focused as we've gone along. But that kind of comes from figuring out what you're good at and what people are really needing out there and kind of adjusting that.
Yep. And it changes over time.
Sure. Markets, economies, technologies, they all change. So, you got to adapt and evolve with that or, won't be good.
Yeah. Okay, so the first people that you're going to talk to, I'm sure, like most people, is your friends and family. This is like a double-edged sword, in my opinion. I think either your friends and family are super supportive, or they couldn't care less.
Yep.
And I haven't really seen any in between.
No. Yeah, we've definitely got friends and family that they're like, oh, cool, thanks.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool that y'all are doing that.
Yep.
And then we've got other people that are
Clients.
clients.
Yeah.
And, my mom asks every time an episode comes out, so she's kind of obsessed.
Hey, Valerie. Okay, so something to remember when you're talking to these people is to genuinely talk to them. Don't just walk up to everybody you know and say, hey, do you want to buy my thing or do you want this service?
Absolutely.
So you want to be genuine. And you can also ask them for referrals. One easy way to do that is just to say, if you know someone that needs this, can you please send them my contact information?
Absolutely. It's as simple as that. And when it comes to that, cast as wide of a net as possible. I know for me early on, asking people for stuff like that felt sleazy and cheap. It's not. It's just salesmanship, and you'll get more comfortable with it. And like we've talked about several times, if you're solving a problem for someone and that's always in the forefront of your mind, these conversations become much easier because it's not preparing to go talk to someone to ask them for something. It's preparing to go talk to someone because you think they've got a problem you can help with.
Yep.
So that's much easier. So you're much more excited to be, I think I can fix this for you.
Yep.
So.
And that is like a lot of things in owning a business, it kind of comes and goes, right? Like sometimes it's easier for you to talk about it and sometimes it gets harder. We do have an elevator pitch guide, how to make the perfect one. And more than what we talked about on the episode, the one on the website has some things to look out for and some tips on how to make it a little bit easier for you.
Yep.
All right. So after your friends and family, then comes former colleagues and acquaintances. So that's going to be, I'd say, probably the same rules apply there, genuinely.
Yeah, because there's probably a lot of overlap here too, right? I mean, I know in my adult life, I think probably every single one of the friends I've had was a coworker.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be some overlap there. And it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. If you're like, we're a small business consultants or, process consultants. But if you don't own a business, not really a lot we can offer you.
Yep. No matter who you're talking to, you want to make sure that you set boundaries and expectations. So this was really hard for us in the beginning because you just will take anybody and do anything.
Yep. And you have to get comfortable, and it's a skill to be able to tell a client no.
Yeah.
And with confidence and without them getting upset.
Yes. Yep.
But they get upset way less than you think they will. A lot of that's in your head.
That's for sure.
So I don't want to scare anybody off. It's actually, when you have that conversation, it's probably going to go way better than you thought it would.
Yep. So when you're talking with your future client, make sure that they know what you are going to do and what you are not going to do.
Outlining what you won't do, I would say more important than outlining what you will do, because what you will do, they'll fill in that gap.
Yes, for sure.
So you want to the water is what you will do. The cup is what you need to build with what you won't, because they'll fill that cup. So you need to design that. So it's like, we don't, like for taxes, tax planning isn't part of your tax return.
Right.
If you got fees, an abatement letter is not part of your tax return.
Right.
But if your client goes in assuming something might be a part of,
they'll think anything to do with taxes is included.
Absolutely. So your client knowing exactly what they're getting, even if they thought they were getting something, having that conversation before, money changes hands and work starts, they're like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's
a lot harder when they thought that was part of it.
Or if something comes up and now they want this, and it's like, well, that's not included, because now it feels like an upcharge. So outlining that in the beginning is super important, and setting those boundaries, because we'll talk about scope creep a lot on here.
Next up, so you've talked with your friends and family, your colleagues, and you're out. You have nobody else in your realm to talk to. Okay, so next, in-person type thing, I guess it could also be online, is going to be local, right? Your local chamber of commerce is a good place to start. You do not have to join the chamber to go to every event, and you don't have to do it in the beginning.
Typically.
Right. Sorry, typically. In our city, you don't have to for everything that they have. We joined the chamber. Delaney goes to all of the openings and stuff, and
she's in the leadership program, ambassador program.
Yep. So look into that, see how much it costs. Don't just get into every paid group that is out there, because there's so many, but look around, see what benefits you're going to get, see if they have events that they do, see what comes with your package, see if you are going to be listed on their website. Try to find out how much traffic that website gets, do some research on that. There's also local groups that can be, like if you do copywriting, there can be like a writer's group or craft groups, or any kind of mom groups are really good too, if you're doing, things moms like.
Right.
Which can be anything, because even if it's not really, moms are usually the one that buy all the presents, right?
Yep.
So then you can go to networking events. The easiest way to find networking events is to go on Facebook.
Yep.
Search small business and your city. Search small business and the next biggest city to you. Search small business and whatever metroplex is next to you.
Yep.
And find those groups. Join as many as you possibly can, and then weed them out.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say a minute ago. Treat your chamber, treat networking groups, treat all of these things like software. And if you've got a free trial, use that free trial. Don't subscribe early.
Yes.
Use all that free trial you can. Usually they'll give you a visit or two that are free, and then it's like, well, you got to pay $5 to come to a meeting after that. That $5, there's some. Well, this isn't a slight on anything. It's just the fact B&I is usually
expensive,
plus $1,000 a year for a membership. Now, a lot of your local, less formally organized, that's a national network.
Yep.
They're going to be a lot cheaper, $80 a year or something, or $5 a month or something. But even with those, is there a good client base in there, or is there at least more importantly than a client base, because you're going to tap that market pretty quick. Because
Yes.
even if there's 80 people in there, even you've got a 10% hit rate, that's 8 people. You're going to burn through that real quick.
Yep.
But is there a good referral network for what you're doing?
Right.
Because not every networking group is built the same,
That's
and they're
right.
not tailored for the same industries. A lot of the ones around here are service-based, so they were better for us. But, if you're selling widgets or you have a storefront,
Yeah.
that's
It harder for those type of people to promote your business.
that's networking is really good for business to business, B2B. But if you're selling consumer end products, go where the consumers are.
Yeah.
Are there
I'd trade shows. Yeah.
Yeah, or
Farmers market.
yeah, exactly. Any sort of public event. Is there a fair in your town?
Yep.
Can you get a booth?
Yep.
Can you wear your shirt for your company around?
Yes. Yep.
We used to go, we had our first shirts, said Havins Business Services, and on the back it said, ask me your business questions. And we would just go to events.
Yes. Yes, we did. We would go to the farmers market and walk around in your shirt with business cards, just talk to people. The main thing is to talk to them, listen more than you speak.
Oh, yeah, I took you for like the first year on all my sales calls, because you'd be like, well, let's listen to the client now.
It's hard because you're very focused on landing the client. You're very focused on making sure that you tell them all the benefits that you
excited.
provide, and you're excited or scared or both.
Or you're nervous. There's a lot of when you're in a one-on-one, especially. There's, well, what if they ask a question and the answer to? What do they do?
Yeah.
Say, well, let me look into that one for you.
Yes.
If you're pretty sure, say that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's this, but I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
Yep.
Let me check in on that.
Do not make something up on the fly. Do not lie.
No, I mean, telling somebody you don't know, but you'll find out for them, sounds so much better than someone that just has
all the answers.
I always am skeptical of someone that doesn't have to think about anything, or like, well, let me look that one up.
Yep.
Because it's like, are you just providing me with answers because you don't want to look, because you don't look dumb?
Yep.
That's, I mean,
Yeah. Let me find out. Saying I don't know can sometimes, if that's where you leave it, but saying I don't know and I will get you an answer.
Yep.
It also gives you an opportunity to get that person's contact information and speak to them again.
Absolutely.
So,
or even if you don't want to say I don't know, say, I haven't dealt with that in a while. Let me double check some things before I give you an answer. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. I use that one a lot.
Yep.
And it's honest.
Yeah.
But it phrases it as with competency. But also, I'm not going to lie to my client and tell them something just because I don't want to say I don't know right now.
Yep.
I say I don't know a lot.
So there's some local online communities that you guys can look up to. Nextdoor, that doesn't work for us because we're, like Kenneth said, business to business, but it could for you guys.
If you've got a yard, landscaping company or something,
Yep.
look at who these networking, referral, advertising, whatever are geared towards.
Yep.
Because there's probably one that's geared towards your industry.
Mm-hmm. So local Facebook groups, like we already talked about, small business, your city. We have like a residence page here in our town. You may have something like that. Just Google the name of your town and all of the towns that touch your town and see what comes up. Join those groups. See which ones have traction, what they're talking about. 100%, this is some solid advice I'm about to give you. If they are complaining all the time in that group, do not post about your business.
Correct.
Go somewhere where people are genuinely helping each other out.
Yeah, there's a few different ones here I guess I can say Burleson. I mean, it's on our website.
Yeah.
It's in everyone there. And there's some that are very useful, and
Yep.
and then there's
Some
ones
that are
that like the
groups.
Yeah, the town just is like, this is where you go to be hateful. Like,
Yes.
it's a like running joke
Yes.
in our on the Facebook group there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's also industry events, conferences, trade shows, workshops, summits, all that kind of stuff. Now, these are going to help you so that you have contacts in your field, but they will also help because you're staying up to date on if anything in your industry is changing.
You got regulatory compliance, new technologies. And I grew up in a small town, 1,500 people, not a big town. And there's going to be a lot of you that are in towns like that. If that's where you're at and there's not, you're like, we don't have a Facebook group. Make it.
Yeah.
Be the one that because now you're the hub that is bringing clients, collaborators, even competitors. You're creating a market.
Yep.
The demand's there, but it's decentralized.
Yep.
You want to aggregate all that demand in one place where you can, take advantage of it a little better.
Yep. Now, two things I would say if you're going to create it. Don't hide that you created it, but don't use it as a you promoting yourself page either.
I'm going to say this whole podcast, that every single episode, frame everything in your mind. Like, how can I help whatever this group of people that you're targeting is, how can I help them? That approach it'll do 50% of the sales work for you. Just changing that mindset, because when you're out there trying to solve problems for people instead of out there trying to sell a product to people, even if your product is the solution, you're not selling a product, you're providing a solution.
Yep.
But genuinely provide a solution. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. Okay, so I've got 4 things on this networking checklist. If you want more on networking and elevator pitches, look at our previous episode, but we'll just go over 4 key points. So you want to identify, so that's find them, then prepare, get your elevator pitch, your business cards, and some sort of online presence. So whether that be a landing page, your LinkedIn is well done.
Facebook business page even.
Yep, a Facebook business page. That's free, pretty easy to set up. Canva has, I think, free templates and stuff, so you can just put some stuff up there quick. And the last one I would say, if you can't get a full website, is a Google business. It will help you exponentially, and it can be very difficult to get it going.
Yes.
We'll do a full episode and give you tips and tricks on how to get that going, but start that as soon as you can.
Yeah, because it can take a while, and it could be, like you said, a little difficult and problematic. And you may not need a full website.
Right.
Depending on what you do, we do, but you may not. So it depends on your industry. We can't go through, every nice code on here and talk about website requirements.
He'd love that. All right. Number 3, engage. We already talked about this, but I'm going to say it again. Listen more than you talk. And then the last one is follow up. So within 24 to 48 hours, send an email or something just saying, hey, it was great to meet you. If you think that you could work together in any fashion, say, hey, let's meet for coffee or something.
Right. And you don't have to just connect with potential clients. Again, collaborators, don't look at competitors as something that's taking away from you. Try and figure out a way that you can,
fill a different need than them.
Or collaborate with them to fill a need that no one else is doing. I mean, think outside the box.
We've used this example before, but we don't work with restaurants.
Correct.
So if we found someone in the same business, restaurant consultant, we could work together.
Absolutely.
We could refer each other people that I'm sure that there's something that we do that they don't.
For sure. And that's the thing. Just because someone does vague overarching what you do or sells overarching the product, the chances that they specifically do exactly what you do are pretty slim to none. And when it's not really the same market, that's no longer a competitor. And so, but you've got someone that probably has a lot of the same issues you do. This is a person that you can maybe talk to, and you've got some insights probably that they need, and they probably got some from you, because we'll talk about being a forever student on this podcast a lot.
So that was a great segue. So next up, we're going to talk about mentors, coaches, consultants, getting guidance from other people. This is just necessary and will help you so much. There's different ways to do it. You can find a mentor. There's mentors on the Small Business Administration website, the SBA.gov. They have mentors for all kinds of businesses and businesses within businesses and stuff like that. It's not paid. I have not used them. I've just read a lot about them.
Yep.
So I don't know how great it is, but that is a place that you can do that. You can look in some of these local Facebook groups and stuff to try to find someone that does what you do, maybe for a retired someone that you could talk to. A mentor is going to be like informal, long-term wisdom. You don't pay this person.
This is a trusted confidant, and you might know someone.
Yeah.
You don't have to have one.
That's right.
You know, you can have someone that's just kind of business savvy or sales savvy, you know, and they may not have done what you do at all, but there's some pretty universal marketing and sales, you know, tips and tricks that you can learn that you can apply pretty much across the board.
Okay, the next is a coach. I know that all of you have heard of business coaches. There is so much everywhere, podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere there's coaches for all kinds of things. Now, I'm not going to knock coaches. Some of them are great. And if you want to go that route, more power to you. So a coach is different from a mentor in that is a paid thing. And usually there's a structure to that program, and they usually use like accountability stuff, check-ins, things like that to move you along for a specific goal. So like the mentor would be broad, and then a coach would be for this specific thing.
Yep.
A few things that I want to say is make sure they're in your industry, have worked in your industry, have worked with people in your industry, that they're above the stage that you are in business, right?
Yes.
Don't hire someone who's just starting out. When you're just starting out, you're going through the same problems. You need someone who has gone through this and come out the other end and can give you advice on how to successfully move through that. Yeah.
So find out what you're paying for. Like,
yes.
Who have you helped before? Are there testimonies, you know, or testimonials? How much is this going to cost?
Yeah.
And what am I going to get more value than that? Are you going to save or make me more money than it costs? Because if not,
yeah, you want to make sure that when you're going through this process, that you're not getting something back like improved mindset.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be vague or
like more sales. Okay, what can I actually look at on a piece of paper and say, these are the ways that I
want a percentage or a dollar amount. You know, if you're going to say increase sales by how much?
Right.
I'm like $1, that's not, you know. So,
and especially with the coaching, you have to be willing to put in the work as well. So if you're like, I'm going to get this coach, it's like a gym membership, right? Like, are you going to use it? Are you going to listen to them? Are you going to follow the program?
They're a personal trainer basically for your business. But if you're not going to show up to the gym and work out and eat right, then don't waste your money on a personal trainer.
Yep. So the next type is consultants. So that's what we do. Do you want to talk about?
I'll try and keep this brief. You can nudge me if I start going too long. Consultants are, I don't want to say similar to coaches because we're really not, but you're usually hiring a consultant for a pretty focused purpose. But instead of someone that's just going to kind of give you advice, this is someone that's going to come in and actually like evaluate, walk through. The two hardest parts about being a consultant isn't solving a problem is really one of the easiest. It's identifying the correct problem and implementing it in a way that will remain implemented. The last one is the one where most consultants don't even get that far. Here's how you implement, and then they leave. Yeah. And that's it. Sticking around for the implementation, but doing it in such a way that in a year, your client doesn't look back and go, it was like they were never here except for that $100,000 we don't have. Yeah. A consultant, so just short example here. So let's say that you are a manufacturing company and you have tried to implement some new, whatever you're doing, 5S, Six Sigma, whatever, and you just can't get it going, or nothing's changed, but throughput's slowing down. and why, and we can't quite figure it out. That's what you would call us. We're going to bring an outside view. We're going to look at what's really happening in your company, what's really causing a lot of times the problem that these business owners have and these executives have is not a problem. It's a symptom of a problem.
Right.
And so we've got to figure out what the real problem is, what's a real solution, and how that we can implement with the resources that are available, with the time constraints that are available. That's what you're going to want someone to come in and not just tell you and nudge you and hold you accountable for. They're coming in and solving it for you. So that's kind of mentor, coach, consultant.
Okay, so a coach helps you solve your problem yourself, and a consultant more walks with you and your business to identify the correct problem and solve it and stay there to implement it.
Yeah, so a mentor is the retired baseball player that this is how you keep your head in the game. Your coach is your batting coach, and a consultant's a pinch hitter.
Okay.
We come in and, for you baseball fans out there.
Okay, so we do have something on our website that you can print off, and it's just evaluating advice. So it goes through who is telling me this, what are they telling me, what credentials do they have. And I know that this sounds like, well, I can do that in my head, but this will really help you figure out if the advice that you're getting is something you should listen to and implement. It's just 2 pages, but it has a lot of good stuff on there.
Because there's a lot of advice that on the surface is going to sound really good, but just kind of critically thinking about it for even like 30 seconds, sometimes you can find like the hole in the logic here. And it's like, oh, well, no, that doesn't really work, because I get unsolicited advice all the time from people that are not qualified to give it. And I'm like, all right, thanks. But I'm like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, but in the beginning, you're getting advice from everywhere. I mean, you're looking for advice. People are giving advice. You're going on the internet. You're on Reddit. You're on Facebook. You're questioning constantly. So this may help you weed through some of that advice and get to something that can truly help you.
Absolutely. And a lot of the people giving you this advice, just because, they're a business owner, they know what they're doing. That's not necessarily true.
All right. So the last thing on landing your first client's part is you don't know what you don't know. That's something Kenneth and I have said so many times. You just can't. You can't know everything that you're going to need to know. That's part of why we do this, right? Because it was so hard in the beginning to get real answers on some of this stuff.
Yep. Without someone being like, it's a $1,500 to answer that one question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's good advice.
Yeah. So make sure that you are continuously learning. There's newsletters and publications that are free. There's online courses for free or sometimes less. There's professional associations. There's books. You can do a competitor analysis, find out what your competitors are doing well and what they're not doing well. If there's something a competitor of yours doesn't do well, maybe try. Yeah, that should be the need that you fill.
Yep. And I mean, and not like if you do a market analysis and you go and no one's doing this well, or everyone's complaining about whatever it is, whether it's delivery times or, quality, figure out how to be awesome at that one thing, and then you just have to be kind of status quo at everything else, but you fill the need for everyone that needs whatever that level of quality, that quickness to delivery, whatever that hole is. So that's trying to be better than someone that's great at something is way harder than trying to be decent at something everyone else sucks at.
Yes. Okay, so this is really part 2. We talked about in part 1 how to talk to your first clients and where they come from, and going to networking and getting some help with a mentor, coach, or consultant. So this is after you've gotten your first client, but still just as crucial.
Yes.
So first is a tip And it really helped me in the beginning when we were doing social media, is to have a few pre-drafted emails.
Yeah. This is not disingenuous or anything like that. This is preparing for a quicker, more thorough, and avoids any errors. You're giving a good response. You don't have to worry about typos or anything like that. And you have to sit there and think about it. This is having as many of these preloaded processes, anything you can do that's already automated or pre-made ready for you is going to help out.
So a couple of examples of that are going to be what services you provide, pricing on things that you provide. The way that I first started using this is social media. During tax season, I would see a post that said, hey, looking for a new tax preparer. Do you guys know anybody? So I could just copy and paste either from my phone or from my desktop, just a little snippet. Hi, my name's Courtney. My husband and I own a firm. Here's our contact information.
Right.
But instead of having to think that through every time, thousands probably of times, I just copy and pasted it. And another thing that you can do is use AI to rework that in a few variations. Even your pricing and your structure and all that stuff, rework those in a few variations. The number one thing with that, though, is always read it before you send it.
Oh, please.
You have to make sure, especially when you're doing these things beforehand, that they answer the question and they answer it in a way that is genuine.
Yeah. And I mean, I can spot an AI generated image, almost immediately. I'm getting to the point where I can start reading like an article or a post and I'm like, AI wrote that.
Yeah.
And wasn't reviewed at all.
Yep. It has a tone.
Yeah. There's a very specific, like, especially Chat GPT. Like, I know when it's a Chat GPT.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I've seen businesses or organizations that were too big to be making this mistake, copy and paste, and there's the little bracket where you're supposed to fill in something specific, like the company name or something, and it's still in there, and you're like, guys.
Or the date's wrong.
It's a useful tool, but...
It's a tool. It should not be doing your job for you.
Right. And if it is, I mean, you're not really doing your job. Like, you don't... If someone can replace you with a $20 ChatGPT subscription, you need to find some more value add.
Okay. Here is a pitfall. Doing free work, bartering, and trade services. This is hard. In the beginning, it is very easy to get into bad habits with doing a trade service or something for free. If you are doing this, you want to make 100% sure that you have lined out specifically what you are going to do and not going to do, because free work is harder than regular work to stop once it's gone off the rails.
Sure, because there's no real end date. And the way you're going to probably wind up in this position is if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of capital, there's someone that needs whatever you do and you need a website or,
social
accounting
media,
services or whatever.
Even bookkeeping, or you're going to do something for your taxes to be done or whatever.
Yep.
Just make sure that you have everything in writing and it is a formal signed agreement.
Yeah. And I would build a termination date. I mean, you can certainly renew that, but when your business starts to get going, you're going to want to be able to exit that arrangement or parlay it into, a paid relationship or whatever.
Because eventually, especially if you're both newer businesses, one of you will probably build faster than the other, and someone's going to be getting the short end of the stick here.
For sure.
So when you're doing free work, that can devalue your business. You can start getting referrals for that free stuff. So along with making sure that you have end dates and formal agreements and all of that, make sure that this is benefiting you. that you're getting a testimonial out of it or something, or you're building your portfolio, or that it's not just you doing something for them doing something. How is this going to help your business?
Absolutely. There was an experiment they did on a college campus where they had 2 stacks of differently wrapped chocolate, but they were the exact same chocolate. And one was free and one was a quarter. The one that cost a quarter went way more often because people assumed that if it was more expensive, it was of a higher quality.
Yep.
And the price differential there wasn't big enough to go with the lower quality one. And we'll talk about the 3-tier system and stuff like that later on down the road. But like you said, it devalues your product or service if you're doing it for free or canned. This is a very delicate and slippery scenario to navigate, because I don't want to say stand your ground here, but if you don't offer up, if someone's like, well, we can do a trade swap, and it's like, well, we can talk about the best ways to navigate that in a later episode, but if you can do this for free, is it really worth paying for it? So
all right. So next up, we've got customer relationship management. So this is a software. We talked about it on the software back-end episode, but just to drive this home, if you can start this from day one, you'll really thank yourself later. You don't have to go with a huge subscription-based Salesforce, made for megacorps or something. You don't have to do that. You can use an Excel spreadsheet.
For sure.
Just have the name of the person, their contact information, little something about them to help you remember who they are, and to keep track. When did you talk to them? When was the last time that you talked to them? Usually there's it's slow in the beginning, and then at some point you hit a surge. And this will happen over and over and over again in the life of your business for everyone.
There's cycles that you'll go through.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that you have, okay, well, I talked to this person in January. I need to follow up in March. And you have that somewhere, because if you hit a surge in February, you're not going to remember that person.
Trust your memory for anything in your business.
Yeah.
Don't. You can trust it for your elevator pitch, but I'd still have it written down in your pocket. Having some sort of system, it's so easy. You're like, I won't forget a customer.
You will.
You might, depending on what happens.
Yeah, or you don't forget the person, but you don't know where their contact information is. You don't remember when you said that you would reach back out. Some people may say, well, let me know after tax season. Okay, so make a note. Call in May.
Right.
Something like that.
Being organized from the word go. And we talked about this with, your books and your finance, but with your customer data.
Yes.
So I'll tell you what I do a lot. I'm like, I'm going to throw this in this folder on my desktop I have called Holder, and I'm going to file it in a minute. 6 months later, I have 800 files in there I've got to sort through. So don't set habits for organization, and
when you have
bandwidth and the time.
That's right. Yeah. While you're waiting for these customers to come, put processes in place.
Build good habits.
Yes. Another thing is, if your business pivots, if you have to change, you have all of this process on the back end.
Right.
Already built for the next thing that comes along.
Absolutely. A little pro tip here on your customer information. Any little tidbit of personal, if they tell you their husband's name or their wife or their kid's name or their birthday or their anniversary, write that down and set some sort of alert. Like if it's their anniversary, if you get a random text or email, hey, just want to wish you happy anniversary.
Yeah.
That will go so.
Yeah.
And it's, again, this seems a little disingenuous because it's like, well, you're writing it down. No, you took the time to write it down because you cared about sending them this. So that's, using a memory aid is not disingenuous.
Yep. When we first started, I got business cards everywhere we went from every person who would give it to me to make a newsletter eventually, right?
Yep.
It's been almost 3 years. We still don't have a newsletter. I don't see that happening anytime in the very near future because I don't have the time to implement it. We've talked about this before. Don't start anything that you don't think that you can keep going.
Yep.
So I, in the beginning, had a notebook, like a binder with baseball card
Yeah.
pockets, and I just kept this event, and I had all these cards in there from that event, and then I'd have a label for the next event and
Yep.
all of these cards from that. I mean, even if you're doing that, that's better than throwing them in a pile
Right.
or something like that.
Yep.
All right, so you've got your new clients. We've told you some pitfalls and some tips. Now we're going to talk about what happens after they say yes.
This is the fun part. You made a sale that you got the, endorphins going.
Yes.
It's exciting. Your first sale is exciting. Really anchor that memory of what that feels
Yeah.
like, because you can use that as a driving force
Yes.
because guys, sales is brutal. You've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You've got to
And no, and no, and no.
yeah. I mean, especially in the beginning, expect 99 no's for every one yes. And you say, well, I need 10 yeses. Well, then go get 990 no's. You talk
Yeah.
to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
You'll get those 10.
All right. So something that could help in the beginning is you need to have the system in place before they say yes, right?
Right.
If they're like, yep, I would love to hire you, and you're like, well, I don't even know what that means now.
And
I was just working on getting the yes. I don't even know what to do next.
Right. And there's going to be times you're building the plane while you're flying it, but
Yeah.
you want to avoid that as much as possible. And we're talking first client here. You're going to mess up a lot of stuff here. Write those down.
Yes.
Write down how you solved it. Implement the solution for that the first time next time.
Yeah.
Make your process better every time. If your client is upset because it's taking longer than you thought, and we, under promise, over deliver.
Yeah. Adjust your time.
We always quote now, and because this was a hard lesson learned in the beginning, sounds like I can do that and blah. Well, assuming that the client does everything, but if the client doesn't provide you with stuff and you still miss the deadline, the client doesn't perceive that as their responsibility.
Right.
So
they don't build into that their time.
Right. So we quote about 2.5 times what I think it'll take.
And it usually does, because you have to wait a month for one document.
Right.
All right. So the first thing that you can do is have some kind of welcome packet. This is for service based, obviously. If it's a product, then you can even send an email, thanks for your order. This is how long that will be. So you want to answer some questions in that first thing, whether it be just an email follow-up or a text follow-up or social media follow-up, or it's a full-on packet with documents and forms and all of that, depending on your business. But you want it to say, this is like what's going to happen next. So here's some time frames. If it's a cup, right, it'll be 3 to 4 weeks till that arrives or whatever. And if it's a website build or something that's extensive like that, you want to have a discovery call or kickoff meeting or whatever you want to call it to align expectations, what you expect from them, what they expect from you. Make sure there are clear timelines, that you know how you're going to communicate. Is this a texting situation? Are you only talking over social media? Those are some very new businesses, but do they want you to call them with updates, or only email, or correspond through like Basecamp or other project management software? How are you going to talk to them, and how long? So we will return your call within 48 business hours or whatever. If you say that,
do it.
And then correct. Yes, do it. But you call them back right away, or it's 24 hours. Great. But if you say, we'll get to you as soon as possible, and it takes 48 hours, then they're mad. Right?
Yeah.
So set the tone in the beginning.
Yeah, like when we handle a formation or something, our holdup there is the state, and the state quotes a 3-week turnaround time, so we quote a 5, but it's almost always back in like 3 days. And everyone, wow, that was fast.
Yeah.
And it's like, yep. But if I had said, I bet I get it back in 3 days, and the state holds it up for a week, now
they're mad
because their frame of reference is whatever you originally told them. So if the delivery time can be longer than a different delivery time, you can get a much better reaction, because 7 days on a 14-day quote is better than 5 days on a 2-day quote.
Yeah. All right. We've talked about this in this episode and many episodes, but it is just so important in the beginning, and it's so easy to to not do it, but define your scope, what you will be doing, what you will not do, your deliverables, what services are included, what is the timeline, what exclusions are there. Just as much as possible, try to define that and be as clear as possible from the beginning. It will save you so much heartache.
Yep.
And so now we're going to tell you what to do if it is out of scope. So as soon as the client asks for something that you are like, this does not go in part of this package or with this, again, cups, because I love them.
I'm going to bring our cups up here one day. We're going to line them up in the front so y'all can see.
Love them.
All the tumblers.
If your cup includes one lid, one straw,
right,
have that. If it includes a straw cleaner and multiple attachments, include that or whatever. If you add something extra, great. But if you show a picture with all of these things
and it's all just the cup,
and it's
that's
just
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, then they'll be upset.
Yeah, because a lot of times you showcase something in an environment, like if you're selling a camera, it's, here it is on a tripod, here it is with, this really nice lens or whatever. But if that's not included in there, you want to make that as clear as possible, because when you think something is something and you get it, it doesn't matter if it said it and you missed it. As a client, you're pissed.
Yeah. Okay. I will take this back to when you were a kid and you got a toy for Christmas. Batteries not included is teeny tiny on the bottom, on the back, and your parents didn't know. And every store is closed. So there are no batteries.
Yeah.
There are none.
Yeah.
You now cannot play with this toy. That is the same feeling you get when you were promised something or you
thought it was coming.
Assumed something and then you didn't.
Now you ruined your client's Christmas.
Yes.
And now they're sad and they will cry and they will yell and they will be a problem.
Okay, so what to do? Inform them as soon as you can that this is outside of the agreement. One thing that you can do is, I think that's a great idea. That would probably really help this. It's going to take 20 hours extra for me to do that, and that service will be this much.
Yeah, absolutely. Additional lids are, $20 a lid. We've got these different types, and, backup straws are an extra $2, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can present it just right out of the gate like this wasn't included, but you almost frame it like they know that.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of business psychology here. If you do that, people don't like to look. I don't want to say stupid, but ignorant. And because there's nothing wrong with ignorant. You don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
Willful ignorance is not okay. But if you just don't know something, and that's fine, but it's like, oh, well, this is this much and this is this much. The client or the customer are probably, they won't challenge you on it. Because they'll go, oh, yeah, I mean, sure. Because they don't want to say, oh, well, I thought I got, some will, but just framing it like that will take care of probably half your.
Another thing that you can do after you've let them know this is propose some kind of written change. You can do, okay, you want the purple cup instead of the clear one or whatever. So I'm going to send over a change order form so that you can fill that out. Since you've already paid this, I'll go ahead and just add on, that additional price or whatever.
And this is coming from me in a manufacturing background. If you're issuing a change order, you need to have, these are the numbers that you need to have on every change order. Original contract amount, prior change order total, the total for this one, and the new all the way total.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 numbers, because if you're missing one of those, your client will not read it well, and they will interpret the best case scenario for them. And if that's not the case, now they're going to be disappointed. So a lot of your avoiding customer issues is preemptively protecting them from themselves almost. So you just, clarity and detail is the most important thing here. And if you run into a delay, tell them immediately, explain what happened, but don't ever come to a client with a problem that you don't have a solution for. Say, this is how we're going to try to do to fix that. don't make guarantees you can't make.
That's right.
Either. So
That's
don't
right.
say, well, we'll do this and it'll be fine. Well, if that's 100% sure, but if it's not, just say this is what we're trying. This is our best option. This has the most likely, chance of success. So this is what we're going to try, and this is what we're going to do.
All right. So on that, on your change order or your addendum or whatever you would like to call it, you want to make sure you have the description, Kenneth's 4 numbers, so it shows the additional cost that is going to be, and a new timeline. Okay, that is super important too. And
super important.
Yep. And never start just because they said that. You wait till they approve and most of the time pay for that change, because they may come back and say, I didn't know it was going to cost more. I would like my original. So don't start a change. Just hold until you get the response. So that way,
And make sure you convey when you send that change that if you're waiting for payment and approval on this to start, make sure, this portion of the job will not start until deposit payment or full payment and a signed change order is returned. And then the time frame is, 3 weeks.
Yep. Okay, so you got the client, you've sent over your new stuff to welcome them in, however that goes, or your new customer, and you've sent a welcome email with the timeline of when you're going to receive that. I see that a lot on Etsy. They do a great job. Most of the sellers on there are really good. You can automate a lot of that stuff too. So
That's
now,
my favorite word.
I know he loves to automate. Okay, so you finished, and now what? Well, first off, you want to always thank them.
For sure.
And then this is a good time to ask for a referral. So a couple of ways that you can do that is, directly ask them. If you know anyone that would like this or needs help with this, please let me know, or please send them my information. You can get testimonials. If you're going to do a testimonial, I would ask specific questions.
Yep.
So you kind of want to guide that, because if you're like, can you give me a testimonial? Some people are going to write a 10-page paper.
Yep.
And some people are going to say they did a great job.
Yep.
So a couple of examples I have are, what problem did HBS solve? What was the biggest benefit that you received? Who would you recommend to HBS or whatever? Those are a few of the questions that you can ask. And if you're asking for a review, put the link in there. Don't expect them to go find your Google business or your Facebook page. Send them the direct link to that.
You want to make everything on the customer side as easy as possible. I kind of try and think of it as a slide. I want gravity to take over. I don't want them to have to work at it. I don't want them to think about how to get to the next step. I want them to they're like, well, yeah, I guess we're hiring HBS.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a smooth process.
Yep. If you're asking for a testimonial or even a case study, maybe you don't know the difference. So a review is short, something you'll see on Google or Facebook. Testimonial is longer, talks more about your personal experience with that. And then a case study is very detailed on how that company impacted your whatever.
Yeah, case study is going to be, you're going to write that one. It's like a detailed testimony that you write, but you're going to want to get permission from your client on the front end if you're going to do a case study, especially, and get it explicitly written out that, you're allowed to use their name.
Yes.
And if they don't want you to use their name, but they're okay with a case study, that's fine. It's a manufacturing company that the $10 to $15 million revenue range in the aerospace industry or whatever. And that's all you need, because that's what people, if someone's reading your case study, that's what they're going to want to know. Because if they got a $20 million a year, I mean, I don't know what $20 million aerospace manufacturer is. If that's, oh, well, they've helped someone in my industry, but it didn't even have to be that. It could be someone doing commercial kitchens or whatever it is. But yeah, case study, you're going to want to talk to your client about that up front, and just get that in writing. Yeah,
always get everything in writing if you possibly can. Okay, this is the hardest thing, navigating tricky client conversations. So you landed the client, you sent your welcome packet, you defined your scope, you did everything that you thought you were supposed to do, and this client still is not happy. So dealing with difficult feedback, this is hard. Your feelings are going to be hurt, especially the first time, the first few times. You're going to feel this on the inside. It is going to affect you like someone personally came after you. Try to remember that they did not. To them, they're going after a company. They're not going after you personally. Someone writes a negative review on Walmart, they're not personally thinking that that's hurting someone, right? They're just like, I hate Walmart. It's usually the same kind of thing. Listen to them, let them talk, let them say whatever they need to say without interrupting them or trying to explain or anything. Let them have their feelings, right? And then empathize, right? So you acknowledge, I hear that you are feeling upset.
I feel like you didn't get what you thought was included due to an error on conveying scope or, whatever. But you always hear, put yourself in their shoes. I mean, actually think about it, swap places and think about, well, if I was told this, got this, and paid this, how would I feel? I always try and approach it with, all right, how do we handle this situation where we're not a doormat and we don't get ran over, but that this client will come back for business soon? Because not in a sales way, but I want to handle this in a way that the customer feels taken care of, because if they'll come back, they felt taken care of. Because a lot of, I'd say 75% of running into client issues like this, upfront communication and empathy will take care of a lot of sometimes they're just going to be.
Yeah, some people just want to be mad.
Yeah, and that's just part of business.
Yep. Another thing to remember is not to assign blame. Either way, don't take it all on yourself. I did this, my company, I messed up, right? Don't do that. Usually that it's not that anyway. Don't say, well, you didn't get me the papers. Try to focus on the solution.
Yes.
I'm so sorry that this happened. That isn't assigning blame anywhere.
Yeah, because the problem they have exists now, and just saying that it was their fault or your fault, even saying your fault, that doesn't do anything.
That doesn't help them.
Exactly what you said. What I was talking about earlier. Don't ever come to the client with a problem, or, if they come to you with a problem, you don't have to solve it right then. But
you need to say,
I think let me look at a few options.
Yes.
Even if that's all you say.
Yes. Let me look into this matter and see what we can do. So find the solution, focus on that. Give new timeline, new estimate, whatever the case may be, and then do everything in your power to follow through and get that. If you think it's going to take a week, this time, for sure, add in some buffer, right? Make sure that you deliver on it.
Because if you don't deliver the second time, there's almost no chance of recovery there.
Right. Okay. So sometimes, having a negative situation like this can turn into a positive one. Actually, sometimes they think that there's a problem and you are going to be devastated, right? You are going to feel so bad and like, I'll never have another customer again. You will. This too shall pass. You're all right. It's happened to all of us. It will happen to us again. So focus on the solution, follow the steps that we talked about, and then deliver whatever it is, in the time frame, and really thank them. Throw in an extra something if you can. If it's cups, throw in a straw or a sticker or whatever. If it's a service, just throw in something small and say, we wanted to add this on.
If I'm throwing in an extra to take care of a client that, especially if it was like we made a mistake, because we're not perfect. We made mistakes. We always try and own those and correct those. I don't tell the client until it's done.
Right.
When I'm like, by the way, I took care of this for you, no charge. Don't worry about it. That will 180 Some people will be like, yeah, you probably should have done that. It's like,
Yeah.
all right.
But you don't want to work with those people anyway.
Yeah, and we'll probably have a full episode about,
Client.
yeah, because not every client's a good client.
That's right.
I mean, in our consulting, the first meeting is more of an interview of me going, am I going to work with this person? Because
Yeah.
like a lawyer taking a case, I'm not going to take a case I'm going to lose. I'm not going to take a consulting job where they're not going to listen to me.
Yeah.
And what am I doing here? Taking your money
Yeah.
for something I don't want to do that.
Right. You don't want to do that. But also, they're just a bad client takes more than they give, right? They take more of your time. They take more of your energy.
More of your confidence.
Yeah, they take all of that away from you. It's not worth the little bit of money because you could have spent all those hours working for that bad client to finding your next new client.
Or working for a good client.
Yep. All right. So that wraps up today, guys. We talked about getting your first clients, how to land them, where to find them, what to do once you've got them.
How to handle issues.
There's more information, more detailed about the topics that we talk about on our website, www.havensconsulting.com. And if you feel overwhelmed and you need someone to talk to or you have a specific question, you can always reach out to us. We would love to hear. You can put a comment in the comment section or you can email us at info@havensconsulting.com and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And we just want to thank you guys for sticking with us through 8 episodes now.
8? Wow.
Yes. All right. Well, you guys have a great day, and we hope you go from launch to legacy.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Thanks. Bye.